Ms. Willingham, you are here to prove that Nathaniel Allen, who tragically passed away, fathered your son, Nicorian, because his mother and aunt say he is not the father, preventing you from collecting death benefits. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Griffin, you and your sister say Ms. Willingham is trying to pin this child on your deceased son so she can collect Social Security death benefits and work the system. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Willingham, what has this past year and a half been like since Nathaniel's family denies your son?
It's been hard. It's just basically me. I mean, I'm a strong, independent woman of my children. I don't ask for help. So as far as depending on the system, I don't know where they're getting that from. I barely call them and ask them for anything. So I just basically want to get the results out that, Nathaniel is the father of Nicorian, so they can know, and I'm just...
I can see this is really upsetting you. You don't know where to begin. Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
You say Ms. Willingham is here about the money.
Yes.
Explain to the court why you feel that way.
Because like about 6 weeks after my son had passed, he come to me and says, you have to go and help me. Y'all need to help me. And I said, what do I need to do? So she took me to the Social Security office, and they told her she had to get letters. So I wrote a letter and a couple of others. And no, I didn't believe this. This is my grandson.
You say you just don't believe
No.
this is his biological child. You don't believe this is your grandson.
No.
And so she needed you to confirm that this was your son's biological child.
Yes.
Did you write the letter?
Yes, I did.
Did you bring that letter to court today?
No, I did not.
I have the letter.
You do have the letter?
Yes.
I'd like to see that. So, Ms. Willingham, you asked Ms. Griffin to please write a letter on your behalf because you wanted to present it to the Social Security office so that you could potentially collect death benefits for your child, whom you say is Nathaniel Allen's biological child. She wrote, "To whom it may concern, I am Latricia Griffin, the mother of Nathaniel Allen, who is deceased. This is what he told me." There's 2 blanks. These are his kids, but Nicorian Allen, he had doubt, so he wanted to get a blood test on him. Thank you, Latricia Griffin. P.S. If we can get a blood test on him, that will solve everything, please. What you're testifying is that this letter hurt your case.
They needed proof, basically, from his family that they witnessed him saying that Nicorian was his son, and they couldn't provide me with that information.
Before you saw this letter, did you know that there were doubts?
I've heard rumors that they didn't think, but me and Nathaniel, way before he passed, had a conversation, and he told me that, he knew that Nicorian was his son. Before he passed, he wanted me to give him the information so he could put them on his 401k plan.
Well, me and Nathaniel had a conversation too, and he told me that he didn't think that Nicorian was his son. He said that it was not his son.
Because Nathaniel has caught you in this other person.
Girl, boo.
And he walked out on him.
Lady,
He come to me, he said, Mom,
no.
That's not my baby, because she come to me talking, it's my baby, it's not.
When you say he caught her, your son told you he caught Ms. Willingham with another man?
Yes.
Miss Willingham and my nephew was not together when the baby was conceived. He was in another relationship with someone else.
Girl,
Yes,
boo.
yes.
Yeah,
Her
please.
son,
Because they were
no.
staying with me.
And she
That's all
wasn't.
we know.
She was staying with
Stand
somebody.
with you.
Yes,
no.
him and the other
No.
friend was staying with me when they weren't together.
No.
Who was staying with you?
My son and his other friend.
Okay, was staying with you.
Yes.
So you knew he had moved on and was in another relationship.
Yes.
And you believe she had moved on and was in
Yes.
another relationship.
Yes.
And you believe that person could potentially be Nicorian's father?
Yes, I do.
Me and Nathaniel was on and off for 6 years. We were staying together, on and off.
No.
When we get into an argument or fight or whatever, he go run to his mom's. She would keep him away from me so he can stay over there with her or do what he want to do. He had his little, his little flings or whatever.
No, I didn't want you to hurt my son.
Hurt your son? What did I do?
You hurted him.
Your son hurted me.
No.
What do you mean? You know
hurted
your
my
son wasn't
by
right.
going
Whatever.
with other guys.
Other guys?
Yes.
No, your son was a whore.
Because you're not
okay.
the-
Whatever.
All right, let's
That's what
be
it was.
respectful.
Yeah.
Let's
Say what
be
both of y'all
respectful.
was. You can't
Yep.
call
You
one.
not.
one
You
and
shouldn't
call
be
the
up
other.
in this.
Hold on,
business.
hold on.
Come on,
Honey.
he called me every day.
Ladies,
Ever.
ladies. Let's get some order.
Please do.
Let's get some
That's
order.
wrong fool with them because they ignorant.
Let's get some order.
Dramatic asses.
All right. So you all had time when you were apart. You were on and off. And so you believe that Nicorian was conceived during a time when your son was not intimate with Ms. Willingham? Is that what he told you?
Yes.
And Ms. Willingham, you dispute that. You say that is not the case.
That's not the case. He left me for a whore. We were together. I called him. I took 2 pregnancy tests. I missed my cycle. I called him when I found out, when it came out positive, I called him and let him know that. He was laying in the bed next with the woman, you know what I'm saying, that he had left me for. Why would I, as a woman, put a child on someone if I knew that, he wasn't the father of my child? I don't, no.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So did you ever try to get a DNA test before today?
Well, I couldn't because, he's deceased. We've talked about it, but we never went through it.
But did he ever deny that Nicorian was his child?
He did deny when I did tell him, when I found out I was pregnant with Nicorian when I was 2 months pregnant. 2 months pregnant. I did not know I was pregnant before then. I had ended up meeting someone when I was 2 months pregnant, but I was already pregnant with Nathaniel's child, So that's why they don't think that Nathaniel is the father of Nicorian.
My son asked for a DNA, but she wouldn't give it to him.
No, that's not the case. We couldn't afford a
wouldn't give it to
DNA
him.
at that time.
Because he came and asked me too.
Whatever.
And I told him, I said, whenever you like, I would go with you.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to help me because y'all not trying to really be in these kids' life, period. That's not the case.
And
I
on
really
the
don't
day
care
that
if y'all
she
do.
had the baby, he didn't even go to the hospital because he said it was none of his.
He's a liar.
Was he at the hospital, Ms. Willingham?
No. Matter of fact,
no.
I went through the whole pregnancy by myself. It was me and my baby, okay? When I was in labor, she called me and was like, have you talked to my son? And I told her no. And I don't want to. I'm fine without him.
I didn't have
Now
no
you
reason to
wanna talk
call you
about-
because my son said he didn't have nothing to
Whatever.
do with you.
Okay, if that's the case, my son still be going over to your house. What do you mean?
Because I help you.
Whatever. Help me do what?
You
What the
need
hell
a day,
me
you
do?
need a child care to
Still-
go to work.
Okay, so I work.
Okay, I watched you
that's
while you
it.
go to work. I didn't want you to lose your
Ladies, I need you to talk one at a
Whatever.
time, but I do want to understand this because this is interesting testimony. You're saying, Ms. Willingham, that on the day you were giving birth, Ms. Griffin called you to say, had you talked to Nathaniel?
She sure did.
Which would seem to indicate that, well, has he heard so he can come to the hospital?
Basically, she said, have you talked to my son? And I told her no. And I don't,
Did he ever show up at the
No.
hospital?
And I was fine with it. Wasn't
Is
like
he on the birth certificate?
No, he's not. He's not on none of his kids' birth
And so
certificates.
after you brought the baby home, you say since that time, Ms. Griffin, has opened her home to your children.
Since, yeah, to this day.
For you, that seems to indicate that she accepts.
My
No.
thing is, if I feel like
I
a
helped
child
her.
is not
I
my
helped her
son's,
because she's working.
help me.
She don't have
I don't
daycare.
even call
I watch
you.
everybody's kids. I'm a grandmother.
whatever. You
If
watch
you need some
no.
help
I
to
need-
go to work and keep a roof over your head, I'm gonna help you.
I
She
can't
barely
say
helped
That
me.
doesn't mean I
She
think
helped
that your
her.
son
She
is
helped
right.
her 2 other daughters with their kids more than her. Since he passed, it's been hell. They don't really spend time with my kids. They don't call my kids. Nothing.
Well, Ms. Allen, tell the court what you understand about this situation.
Well, what I understand about it is when the baby was born, my nephew had called me from work and told me to come over there and look at the baby. And I didn't have a problem with that. So when I got over there, first thing he said, the baby don't look like me, Auntie, it's not mine.
So your nephew, the deceased, he told you to your face. He
Yes.
says it.
Yes.
He
He
was like-
called me to come to look at the baby.
He wanted you to see the baby.
Yes, ma'am.
And that seems to suggest that he was confused as to whether or not it was his biological child.
Yes, ma'am. He also told our cousin Shauna that it wasn't his as well.
And if you want to talk to her, I have her number. We can call and talk to her.
Well, I actually do want to talk to her then. You have her number?
Yes, I do.
Please write it down. And Jerome, will you get that telephone number from me?
The baby's not on here.
Thank you. What is your cousin's name? Oh, you wrote it down.
Yes, it's-
LaShawna London.
Hello,
Hello. Is LaShawna London in, please?
this is me.
Hello, Ms. London. This is Judge Lake calling from Paternity Court. We are here discussing the paternity of Nicorian Allen. And your family is in court today saying that Mr. Allen, Nathaniel, had words with you concerning this child. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. He said that he was kind of positive that it wasn't his.
He was
But
positive.
down the line, later on, he wasn't sure.
So do you know anything personally, firsthand, about this entire situation?
I just know what my cousin be telling me. They used to just have problems, but they'll get back together. And then on the last one on Corian, they wasn't together. He was doing his thing, she was doing her thing. But me personally, I think Corian is his.
Looks just like him.
You do?
He looks just like him.
It is your testimony that despite the fact that Nathaniel told you that this was not his biological child, you believe it is?
Yeah, me personally, because he kind of favors.
All right, well, thank you for taking the call. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Well, that surprised you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You've never heard her say that before?
Never.
No.
It did confirm your testimony in the sense that she said he initially said, "This is not my child."
Yes.
And then he said, "I'm not sure." And then she offered her opinion that she believed, in fact, it was.
Yes. Because that's his last words he asked me to do. He said, "Mama, I want you to help me to see if this is my son."
And that's why when Ms. Willingham asked you to write the letter to the Social Security office, what you wrote is what your son asked you to do.
Yes.
You said he had doubts, and please may we have a DNA test.
Yes.
And it's a very complicated situation. So to help, the court would like to call Faye Sykes. She is a national financial security advisor. Jerome, can you please escort Ms. Sykes into the courtroom?
Sure. Stand.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Ms. Sykes.
Absolutely.
We are here discussing a very complicated case because unfortunately the potential father is deceased and we cannot get testimony from him. How difficult is it getting death benefits for a child?
Social Security office needs to be able to show that this is a descendant of the deceased. When there is not both names on the birth certificate, there are some other ways that we can go about to get that proven.
And so how would you get that proof?
So if the father had listed the child on an income tax return, listed the child as a beneficiary in a will or a life insurance policy, if there potentially might have been anything in writing where he spoke about the child being his, those could be admissible for making that a valid claim with the Social Security office.
What does a mother do in that situation when the deceased family is not cooperative?
So what I would recommend is, setting an appointment with the Social Security office, calling them ahead of time and explaining the situation. They'll tell you what documents are required so that when you go in, they can potentially go ahead and accept that as a claimant for the deceased. If there is not enough valid information, they could deny the claim.
And so if Ms. Willingham would have allowed Mr. Allen to put Nicorian on the 401k paperwork and information, it's a possibility that she could have collected those death benefits, right?
Correct.
But if it's proven today that he is not the biological father, then she can't.
Exactly.
So the stakes are high. I think it's time to go to the results. Jerome? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased, Nathaniel Allen, we performed a grandparentage test in order to determine if the deceased mother, Latricia Griffin, is related to Nicorian Allen. The results read as follows. In the case of Willingham versus Griffin, When it comes to 4-year-old Nicorian Allen, it has been determined by this court Latricia Griffin and Nicorian Allen are related.
Yeah, you know.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I just want to say, I'm glad he's blessed with a grandbaby because that's number 14.
Wow. Yes.
And I would like for her to bring him over more than she has been bringing him over. I don't care what she say, but bring him.
Ms. Brooks, you state that after getting out of a 9-year relationship, you met and fell in love with Mr. Page, a younger man who you say swept you off your feet. You claim both you and Mr. Page planned to have a child together, but since giving birth to your son, Ivion, Mr. Page is now denying the child you so desperately wanted to have with him.
Yes,
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Page, you state you know the child isn't yours because Ms. Brooks was having an ongoing affair with another man by the name of Tony Wilson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Wilson, who is also here today, claims to be the father of her son and has even posted pictures on social media to that effect.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Brooks, describe the nature of your relationship with the defendant.
Right now, our relationship is on the rocks. We really have no relationship. All we do is fuss and fight. He's denying our baby.
So you don't think it's your baby, Mr. Page?
No, it ain't mine.
Why do you think that?
Because she every time I come home from work, she out with Mr. Wilson. So I don't know what she's doing at work. When I'm at work, she calls me. When I'm at work, I call her. But when I'm getting off, she'll don't pick up, don't nothing. I call everybody that she hangs around with, they won't pick up. So to me, I think she tells them not to pick up the phone when everything's going on. When I come home, he might have my child holding him, whatever, I don't know.
You're the one that disappears every day. You're the one with the gambling
Going to work
problem.
isn't disappearing.
He goes to work every day. Yes, he does. And when he gets paid, the next day, he is broke. He goes to the casino and spends all his money and may bring $30 inside of the home and then expect me to take care of him from the 2 weeks after that until he gets paid again. This is a routine that Mr. Page does.
So this relationship is in trouble not just because of the paternity issue, but other issues as well.
It stimulates from the paternity issues because at first, when we first got together, it was lovely. When I first was pregnant, he did everything. He was there, he was good, like during the pregnancy, and then everything changed. So I think it has a lot to do with
No, everything ain't changed, Your Honor. What changed is her not being home when I come home at night with her and my son being around Mr. Wilson, her friend. That's what it comes from.
This man, Mr. Wilson, was he the ex you were in a 9-year relationship with?
The ex that I was in a 9-year relationship with was a female. That means I had no penetration whatsoever in 9 years.
And she's
It's
still
no possible
talking to
way.
her now.
Well, clearly she's not the father.
Right.
Right.
She's not a problem. She's not a problem for him. He don't want me to talk to anybody. Anyone at all. It's only about him.
I want to understand your doubt about, because you were in a sexual relationship with her during this time.
Yes.
So you feel like she was cheating on you sometime during the window of conception.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Tell
Your
me
Honor.
about that doubt. What substantiates your doubt about the paternity?
She knew Black longer than she knew me, so they've been messing around or whatever they've been doing. I know Black's Facebook page is dedicated just to her and my son. And I have evidence right here saying that, yes.
Let me see this evidence. Jerome?
That is just my friend. We take
Tell me if that looks, please tell me if that looks like a relationship or a friendship.
We go out, Your Honor, he helps.
There's no space in between the bodies, Your Honor. They right up, if they wanted to turn around and kiss, they could kiss.
We are just that close, like
so
that's how close
this
we are.
is a picture of Mr. Wilson. This is his profile picture. And that's you, Ms. Brooks, and Mr. Wilson?
Yes, that's me and Mr. Wilson. Picture is just a picture, that's it.
Right, and that's the next one that I got right here, Your Honor.
These are all photos of you?
All dedicated to
Mr.
Mr.
Wilson, that's the baby in there?
Yes.
But that's just a picture of me and the baby, though.
But they
it's
always
on his,
with each other.
It's one of his profile pictures.
Yes, I'm the best thing that's...
I mean, look at that.
And then that's Mr. Wilson with Ivian.
Yes, and he has been there. Like, he is really upset because...
How's he been there?
He's
I've
been there because
I live right
you're
there
not.
with him. I buy
Okay,
milk,
but
I buy what I got.
when you're
for
not
my
there, he
potential
is
child.
there. Mr. Page
bare-
does do things, but he does the bare minimum.
I do the bare minimum, but I buy milk whenever she needs to. I'm the first person she calls when she needs something. Mr. Wilson isn't the first person that called. When she needed Mr. Wilson's not there. He's over wherever he's at getting drunk or whatever he's doing. She doesn't help me out. She calls me and tells me what to do, and I have to find a way to do it.
What am I helping you out for? I'm not your father.
Right, you the baby mother, so it should be 50-50. I should help
50-50
and you should
on
help.
what?
You don't help me
Okay.
do anything.
What if I just come out of a high-risk pregnancy and the baby's only 8 months old? What did you expect me to do? That's when you were supposed to stand up and be there.
The pregnancy
and be
was
there
8
for
months ago.
When I had the baby in the hospital, he wasn't even there. He was there for the birth.
Oh, hold on. That's a lie. I was there. I waited till he was born and I left. I had to go to work. I can't call out 2-3 days in a row thinking I'm gonna still have a job. They don't care about that, so I had to go to work.
I'm afraid to ask this, but after Mr. Page left, did Mr. Wilson make an appearance?
Yes.
Yes, he made an appearance, but way later. Because I made him
He didn't
stay.
come to the next day, but when I come to the place, I got my son ready to walk out the door. There's some lady like, oh, that's not your son. I seen some other guy holding him. Like,
Really?
Yes. When Mr. Wilson walks around my son, he does not let it be known that he's not the father. He does not let it be known that he's the godfather.
But how is
They
that my
think
fault?
He's his father, because you're right with him. What do you
How
talk
is that my
about?
fault? No, and
I'm
you
not
know how I
talking to
feel
you, I'm
about
talking
that.
to Miss
And I'm
Lauren
talking
Lake.
to you. Your Honor, right
And he's
now.
walking around telling them that they're having sex and all this.
He's saying what?
That they're having sex.
Who's
Friends,
he telling
rumors.
this to?
Mr. Wilson does go around lying to people and saying that he had sex with me. I did not know that at first. I recently found out. Me and him
I heard
had
it
a
from her.
problem with
I
each
heard
other.
it from
Of course,
her.
I told him this because
And they're
I'm
still
upset about
best
this.
friends.
Because
they
we
never
were
had
in the
sex,
house
Your Honor,
first.
but they're still best friends.
We were in the house, Your Honor. Me and Tony just now became friends again because I was mad at him because I didn't know this. I ran into a female that lives in his same building, and she told me that he told me that they had sex together. I explained to her that that wasn't the case. So I went off. I was getting ready to go to fight her, and I was getting ready to fight Mr. Wilson because I know what's going on around and down in this area. How can she try to tell me what's going on in my area?
But every
I felt
time-
as though both
but-
of them should stay out of this
How you know
area.
what's going on
So I
in your
wanted to
area?
fight.
But every time we argue, you're telling me I'm not the father, or somebody else is taking care of my son, or somebody else can, or you can get somebody to.
You're
So when
not
you have
a
an
father.
argument,
Every time we argue, she tells me I'm not the father.
That's
This
because
is
he's
more
not
one,
a father,
2,
Your
3
Honor.
times.
We live in the same house.
I often have to tell young women this, and look, everybody's had an argument where they said something they regret or they shouldn't say, or say something to hurt someone, or just trying to make someone hurt as much as they've
hurt.
made them hurt.
Right.
But when we say things like that, you can't unring that bell. Once you ring it,
It's wrong.
yes. Jerome, I think it's time we meet Mr. Wilson.
You got it.
Please escort him into the courtroom.
I'll have you go up to the witness stand right next to the judge.
Mr. Wilson, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Please describe for the court your relationship with Ms. Brooks.
Oh, we're still best friends. That's like one of the fellas, you know. That's my homie, except for she's female.
So you're best friends.
Yes.
What is your relationship like with her son, Ivian?
Well, I'll be honest, that's my godson. You know, I treat him like my son. I love him. On my lunch breaks, I stop past Sam. I spend time with him, take him to the park.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
How would that be a lie? You never there. You too busy playing the game, chilling with your homeboys and friends.
Why do you say he's lying?
I'm from Glen Burnie, Your Honor. We live in Baltimore. I don't have no homeboys and friends. When I get off, I go to work, get off work, I might play the video game, but best believe my son got a bottle in his mouth, or my potential son has a bottle in his mouth. He's laying there about to go to sleep.
Is that when you try to complete it the next level, get to the next level to play on your video games? That's when you do all this?
Are we serious right now?
He does the bare minimum, Your Honor. It's like I said, it's like being a single parent in the home with somebody. Every time I ask him to do anything as far as Avion, he has a problem with it. And at the end of the day, my son doesn't have another side of the family.
Have you told people, Mr. Wilson, that you're Avion's father?
Your Honor, yes. Yeah. See, what happened was, it was this girl I was dealing with, and to make her mad and make her jealous, because she had an issue with Miss Brooks because her hair was long and she wear tracks, and Miss Brooks has on fingernails, she has on press-ons. I was just making her be jealous. But due to social media is something else. Let me tell you. She put all my business up. I think Santa Claus even know about the situation. But the only person I spoke with was that particular female that I was dealing with, which was my ex.
That's not the only person you told that to. And he got too many. He's a thot. He got too many baby mamas already. They don't even call him his name where we live at. They call him Baby Father. That's his name. That's his name. And the females that he deal with in me is two different type of females. That's why I would never date Mr. Wilson. And plus, he's not my type. Look, date.
But he lied on you. Why are you still best friends with him?
He don't have no choice but to lie on me. Look at his
Why
girls.
are you best friends with him?
What?
Because he's done a lot of stuff.
Mr. Wilson, are you in love with Miss Brooks?
Yeah, I do a pretty time. Yeah, I'm in love with her. But when I was stepping train, that boundary what them two have together as far as Mr. Page. But if it came to a chance down the line, yeah, I would if she would allow it. But I don't step in that boundary. I just keep it as a friendship.
My perspective is, if somebody lying on me telling him I had sex with him and that's a whole lie, I would never be friends with him again.
Listen, his issue is you're just so close to this man, right? And then when he's lying, you say, this is not the truth. You are not sleeping with him, never slept with him.
No, not at all.
But he's telling people you have.
Right.
He's telling people he's your child's father, and you telling Mr. Page he's not the child's father. But that's where his doubt.
But Your Honor, I knew.
Every time I go to work, my son go over his house. Every day. One night,
best friend.
One night I was calling him from my job. She been called, we were talking to her at the job. But once I get off, I can't get a hold of him. When I get to the house, my son is not there. She's not there. Nobody's picking up the phone. I'm walking all around.
So what about when you disappear for days at a time?
I don't disappear. I go to work.
Yes, you do. You disappear for days at a time. Every day when you leave out there, your phone not even on. You don't even call while you at work. If you call while you was at work, then you would know where your son was at. You don't know. You just find out at the end of the day.
I just told you where my son was at.
Not every day.
Every time I'm at work, she thinks I'm over there messing with some woman.
Because you
She'll call me. I'll be, hello?
I have proof that he was messing.
She's not even trying to talk. She want to listen to what's going on in the background. And sometimes she'll call, my pocket might pick it up. She'll be on the phone for a whole hour, sitting there listening. You was talking to, there was so much conversations going on around.
His phone does pocket dial me.
She swears I'm doing
And guess
something.
what? I do listen because I want to hear what's going on. He said, why you listen to my my conversation for 25 minutes? Because you was talking for 25 minutes. So that's why I listened.
Ms. Brooks, I have to ask you before we go to the results. This triangle
is sick.
Has been in effect for a while.
Yes.
And the only way we're going to be able to move forward is to get the results. But Ms. Brooks, I have to ask you, when I open these results, I'm not going to get any surprises. You say you have not cheated on Mr. Page.
No, never. I was like a virgin. I'm like a born-again virgin. I didn't have sex for 9 whole years. 9 whole years. It's no possible way. And like, he's like my first all over again. You know, I care about him in that way. I cared about him in that way. If it wasn't for his actions during all this, I would still love him just the same. But all this has broken me. Like, only person that I care about right now is my son, because that's who it's affecting right now. Him having a father. I never had one. He never had one. Now, he's trying to take away from him having one, and he's just crazy if you ask me.
So, Mr. Page,
I ain't crazy. I've been there. Whatever they want to lie about right now, I live in the house. The milk they got she has, come out my pocket.
But if it's determined you are not, do you still want to be in a relationship with Ms. Brooks?
No, done.
You don't got no money anyway.
Okay.
All right, it's time for the
always
results.
asking me
Jerome?
for my money. Just 2 weeks ago, I gave you $100.
This casino.
I gave you $100. Just keep making them bottles of milk.
Do we want to hear the results?
Yes, Your
Or do we want to keep running our mouths?
Results, please.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Brooks versus Page, as it pertains to 8-month-old Ivion Page, as to whether Mr. Page or Mr. Wilson is the biological father, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
Told you. Told you.
Mr. Page, you are the father.
Told you. Told you. Told you. Now, Ronnie, my money. It don't make no sense that I had to go through all of this just to prove that. All of this.
No sense that you with somebody who keep lying on you. That don't make no sense.
Mr. Page, you finally know the truth. Does it feel good?
Yeah, it do feel good.
I can see the emotion in your eyes.
Thank you.
You're happy
Yes,
to know for certain
for sure.
that Ivion is your son.
Yes.
And Ms. Brooks,
Yes.
you've been vindicated. You
Yes.
said it was in fact his child.
Yes.
It is. Now it's time to focus on the future and what's most important.
My son.
Yes. He's most important, Ivion. And you all laugh and joke and talk about one another and all this rumor, and you got to figure out how to manage your best friend that lies on you. It's a lot going on here.
Yeah, some things I might have to let go.
Ms. Eubanks, you say you are here to save your relationship with the defendant by proving that he is your 3-month-old son, Mozzie's father. You say once today's DNA results prove paternity, you want to get married. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Wilkes, you claim that when Mozzie was born, you hoped for a sign that he was your son. But no matter how hard you looked, it just wasn't there. You say negative paternity results will end your relationship. Is that correct?
The end of everything, Your Honor. Yes.
All right. So, Ms. Eubanks, you say you want to save your relationship. Explain.
I want to save my relationship because we've been together too long. I'm 1,002% sure that he's my child's father. I just want these results for him so we can move forward and get married like we planned.
And how has this doubt affected you?
It affected me tremendously, like emotionally.
I heard you well up with tears. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
It's just emotional. Like, we've been together too long, so you shouldn't have no doubts or no feelings that anything else is going on.
And it's not just that he's doubting you, he's doubting your baby.
Yes.
And how does that feel as a mother? No mother wants to feel that.
It hurts a little bit, but he still does everything like a father is supposed to.
And yet you have tears in your eyes because?
Because I love him and I want to be with him. And it's just, I don't know, it just hurts sometimes.
Mr. Wilkes, tell the court why you're here today.
Well, Your Honor, I'm here. I just need results. I'm tired of guessing, wondering, and things of that sort. And like she said, we have been together for so long, so I shouldn't have doubts, but I have my reasoning. It's just the connection, it wasn't there when he first came. You know, like, my kids all give me certain signs, you know what I mean? I just didn't feel any type of connection. You know, I even held him up. I did him like the little Simba.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And I can see that you don't take this lightly. You are troubled about this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I stay up late. Sometimes, I'm stressing, really. Like, even growing gray hairs. I'm only 30 years old.
You stay up late staring at the baby, stressing?
Yeah, like me and him would be sitting downstairs, I'll take him and we'll just be downstairs all the way about 6, 7 in the morning. And, you know, I'm tired of just keep going on with guessing. I need real results.
All right. So, Ms. Eubanks, tell the court how this relationship started and then when it took a turn for the worse.
Okay, the relationship started, we met each other at the strip club. We was there for a family member's birthday party. And
Oh, okay.
it was just love at first sight. Like, we was together ever since. It took a turn for the worst after our first child was born. We had took a little, I guess what he calls it, a so-called breakup.
Mr. Wilkes, do you believe during that time she was dating other people?
She was definitely talking to other people at the time.
I was talking.
When you say talking, what does that mean? Does that mean?
That means that could be sex also.
No.
But we're just not together.
Well, that's not talking then.
No, Your Honor, no. I never had no relations with nobody else but David. I talked to other people when we had that little split, but I never had relations with nobody else.
Well, I seen her ex at her house, at her family member house where she had moved to after the breakup. He was going in the house.
No.
So I catch him. I catch him going in the house. So me being the person that I am, I parked and I watched to let him go to a little closer. Yeah. So he walked a little closer to the door. So that's when I got out, because where else was you gonna go? You know what I'm saying? So as I walked to the door, he turns around and walked the other way. So when I goes in the house, she's laying in the bed. So what are you supposed to expect?
No.
Oh, you mean she's laying in the bed like expecting him to come?
When she seen it was me, she was laying in the bed, she was like this. I'm asleep.
No.
She really was. She was acting like she was asleep. My son was still up, so I knew she wasn't asleep.
No, that is a lie, Your Honor. That is a lie. I had went over to a family member's house. I texted him and I said, I'm ready to go. Can you come get us? My ex he's still cool with my family member. Whatever they got going on does not have nothing to do with me. You saw me in the house, in the bed with our son. I'm telling you, I'm ready to go.
She texted me out the blue, asked me, where are you?
I'm ready to go.
You were at a location for hours, and you just text me like, where are you?
Oh, you think she was trying to get tabs, like how far away is he?
I know, I've been with her so long.
That's the thing. I don't need to do that with him. I'm straightforward with him.
Your Honor, I've been with her so long, like she said, I kind of know her. You know what I'm saying? So like for her to just...
So you should know that I wouldn't lie to you about nothing like that.
My intuition just told me to go.
Go to the house.
Go straight to the house.
And somehow your intuition led you straight to see this ex coming up towards the door.
To the door. She looks innocent, Your Honor.
I am innocent.
Your Honor, it doesn't matter what she's portraying or what she's trying to say.
It's not portraying, it's the truth. I only deal with you.
I'm here for the results.
I only had eyes for you.
I want results. You know, that's it. She said
And this really bothers you, Miss Eubanks. I see you're about to cry. Why?
Because I love him. Like, I try to show him every day that I'm about you and it's just you.
And you know, even the words you use in your testimony, how you're just trying to prove, that's exhausting.
Yes.
And that's not how healthy relationships function.
Right, no, it's not.
So when you're in the phase where you proving and your relationship is some mini Supreme Court case where you got to have evidence and proof.
Right.
Hold on.
Oh, you got more to add?
More. I still had this intuition. So I went through the phone one night and seen a video.
Uh-oh.
You the only eyes for me, but I have video of something that's showing me something totally different.
What? Did you bring that video to court?
I have the video.
Let's take a look at the video. What do we see here, Mr. Wilkes?
We see that's her when she said she had eyes for me. This is during our little separation. That's her dancing. She's bent over, she just slapped the camera. That's a guy behind her, you can't really see it. You kind of see it? You see that grinding?
Oh, I
see it.
Yeah.
No, but Your Honor, before that video even happened, he sent me a picture.
Oh, is that a hand?
No, that was not me. He didn't touch me. No.
Yeah, but it's all into, it's all in. If you got eyes for this, that don't even play a role.
Okay, but he so-called loved me, but before that even took place, he sent me a picture of him and another girl talking about this is
This
white.
isn't couples court. We're here for a paternity test. It's
right,
results.
but you love me also.
Yeah, but you're not.
You love me also, but you can't say you love me also.
We're here for
and
results.
having relations with somebody nobody
We're here
else.
for results.
You are in this video.
Yes.
Yeah, that's her with the
And
I got
that is you bent over twerking.
Oh, you can't see the guy behind her? It's the guy behind her.
I see the guy behind her.
Yeah.
And I also see the hand of another guy coming over
No.
to slap
That was the girl in front of me.
somebody
No,
behind.
they had like a little four-way thing. She had a girl dancing on her and a guy. They was just doing, they had like a whole little party.
So, Mr. Wilkes, you brought a witness to court that saw this whole thing.
Yes.
Please stand, sir. Step over to the podium. State your name for the court.
Dante Gillahan.
Mr. Gillahan, you were there that night at this club?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember seeing?
No, he was not.
I remember seeing her, the guy, another girl, and another fella.
No.
And they was in there dancing. So I'm in the club, I'm standing back, I'm looking. All you see is him all on her. They grinding.
He is lying.
They grinding.
He is lying. He is
They
lying.
grinding like they,
No.
Wait. Okay.
He
Do it one more time.
No, he's lying. He is lying. Don't even listen
the dudes
to
all
him
on her
because
like
he's
this.
lying. He is lying.
I'm like,
No.
Jerome,
No, I wouldn't
can
even
you do
believe
that move?
No, I can't.
No, Your Honor.
Jerome,
No.
go and hit it one time, Jerome. One more time, Jerome. James, I'm gonna kill you.
yeah, it's just like that. Yeah.
Oh, boy. I needed that laugh. Woo! So that's what you saw.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
And you are
no.
sure it was Ms. Eubanks?
Yes, ma'am. Right after I
He's
saw
lying.
that, I had got in contact with him. I told him, like, bruh, I see Jemiah, I know y'all separated, whatever y'all got going on. And he was like, somebody else had sent them the video.
Oh. You had an informant. So now, did you confront Ms. Eubanks about it, or did you just keep it to yourself?
No, I confronted her.
And what was her response
No,
to
look,
this
this how I
video?
confronted her. I had actually just sent it back to her from my phone.
Oh.
I'm that type of person. I'm gonna just put the proof.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. The witness may be seated. Thank you. Woo! All right, so some point, Ms. Eubanks, you find out you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And that was way after this.
Way after that period of time.
Yes.
So when you find out you're pregnant, take me to that day.
I had met up with Mr. Wilkes, and he had looked at me. He gave me this like weird little look, and then he just started touching on my stomach, and he was like, "Is this the little girl that we've been hoping for?" And I was like, "I hope so." So, after that, it was like we was together again, like every day. We was still being a happy family. We was picking out names, planning everything together.
I don't know what she's telling you. Once I got back with her, that's when conceived.
No.
I seen this after.
We was still dealing with each other, even after this.
Even dealing or not, that's
was
why we
still-
need results, because I don't know who you dealing with. You doing a lot
I
of
was just dealing with you. I was having just relations with you.
You
I
was
didn't
having
have.
relations with me, but on this video camera, it looks like a lot of relations.
How did that look like relations?
How? Can you please, how many
I didn't have relations with nobody else but you.
All right. Well, you brought your mother here today.
Yes.
And I'd like to hear from her. Jerome, will you please escort Ms. Moreland into the courtroom?
Yes. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
I'll bring it right up to the witness stand next to the judge. Just step going up this.
Hello.
Hello, Ms. Moreland. Thank you so much for joining us today. You realize we are here talking about the paternity as it relates to baby Mozzie. And he has doubts.
He does. He'll wake up in the middle of the night. He'll call you in the middle of the night and
asks me questions. Who do he look like in the family? I don't see that he resemble anyone. And I'm like, David, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? And anyone in the family, all of my other grandchildren have very strong resemblance of someone in the family.
And so how would you feel if he's not your son's biological child?
I would be a little disappointed. But it wouldn't change anything.
I've heard sufficient testimony, and I think it's time we all get the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Eubanks versus Wilkes, when it comes to 3-month-old Mozzie, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilkes, you are the father. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's your beautiful baby boy.
Can I give her a hug?
Absolutely, if she's okay. Let me say this before we go. There are certain things in our lives as parents you have to give up.
Exactly.
Right? If you want to have the kind of relationship you dream about.
Right.
Right? Because these videos right here, they're gonna get you in trouble every time. Both of you all just set boundaries and set a foundation that leads you to the type of life you want for your children and for yourselves. And that way, nobody's out of pocket on video.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So, this has been an amazing case. Jerome, I didn't know you had to move. I really didn't know. I mean, Jerome.
My stripper days.